Welcome, dear listener. Tonight we step into a world where myth and eternity breathe together. A world where gods rule the skies and echoes of ancient powers stir once more. At the heart of it stands Zeus, king of Olympus, guardian of balance and order. Long ago, he shaped harmony after the Titan's reign faded into legend. The skies were calm, the seas steady, the earth rich with life under his watchful gaze. Yet whispers rise in the wind voices older than Olympus itself. The stars shift, dreams grow heavy, and mortals wake with wonder in their hearts. Something ancient stirs, not with anger, but with mystery and promise. Could it be? The Titans are returning not to destroy, but to remind the world of forgotten truths. This is their story. The story of Zeus and the Titans' return. The story begins in stillness, so vast it feels as though the entire sky is holding its breath. High above the earth, the halls of Olympus shine in sunlight, marble columns glowing like fire at dawn. Golden light spills across terraces that overlook the world, carrying the scent of pine, sea, and ancient power. It is a moment of balance, where nothing seems unsettled and peace stretches across heaven and earth. At the heart of it all stands Zeus, ruler of Olympus, keeper of order, father of gods and men. He watches from his throne of shining stone, thunder etched in its veins, lightning resting at his side. Zeus looks upon the horizon mountains proud, rivers silver, mortals laughing faintly as their voices rise upward. For once, all is calm, not empty silence, but true harmony, a rhythm between skies, seas, and earth. Poseidon's seas lie smooth, reflecting the heavens like glass. Demeter's fields sway in gentle rhythm with the wind. Mortals sow, harvest, pray, celebrate, live, and love. The cycle of life flows as it was meant to be. The King of Gods feels rare satisfaction. His storms quiet, his rule steady, his heart briefly at peace. Yet peace is fragile, as delicate as glass, beautiful, luminous, always at the edge of breaking. The gods move in quiet rhythm, Hera tending oaths, Athena searching truths, Apollo's lyre glowing like sunlight. Even Ares, restless spirit of battle, finds little to contest in this rare and gentle calm. Below, mortals sing at their fields, trust the winds at sea, and tell stories of gods with shining eyes. Children grow beneath Olympus's gaze, not in fear, but in awe. Thunder rolling like a voice of comfort. Yet in the stillness, Zeus feels a subtle shift, a whisper at the very edge of awareness. At dawn, when the sky blushes crimson and gold, he senses a weight pressing gently on the air. Not a threat, not yet, but a presence faint, familiar, and older than Olympus itself. Zeus says nothing, not to Hera, Athena, or Hermes. He listens and he waits. The silence of the sky is never empty. It carries voices, echoes, and memories that long to be heard. The calm before a storm is often deceptive, but this is no storm of thunder or rain. This is older, deeper, a stirring memory of an age that has never fully disappeared. For Zeus, the calm is both a gift and a warning, a reminder of powers beyond Olympus. He remembers the weight of the Titans, vast and eternal, their presence stretching across time itself. Those memories sleep within him, heavy but never gone, shadows that awaken when stars shift strangely. Now, in this fragile calm, those shadows stir again, as though rising from the deep. Mortals sense nothing unusual, their lives flowing in joy, toil, and worship as always. The gods, too, seem content, each occupied with their realm, untroubled by faint disturbances. But Zeus lingers longer at the horizon, fingers tracing the storm-carved arm of his throne. Beyond the edge of sight, something is moving, not against him, not yet, but slowly toward him. The stillness holds. Harmony sings softly, yet beneath it whispers of change begin to weave. This is the calm before the silence, before voices return. The pause before forgotten truths awaken. Balance, no matter how perfect, never lasts forever. Night falls over Olympus, marble halls glowing with the last warmth of the sun, torches flickering, shadows dancing across the stone. The silence is deep, but not empty. A murmur drifts through the wind, faint, ancient, a sound not born of earth or sky. Zeus rises from his throne and walks to the edge of Olympus, gazing at mortal fires glowing like stars upon the earth. The wind brushes against him, carrying words half hidden, trembling between memory and prophecy, calling with quiet intent. Hermes is the first to notice clearly. Mid-flight above the sea, he feels the air grow heavy, the night unusually alive. His sharp ears catch fragments of sound, faint, broken, scattered. A voice carried by the wind. Hear us? Remember? Return? The words fade quickly into the night. Hermes frowns, curiosity stirred. Never has the wind spoken to him this way. Without hesitation, he speeds to Olympus, wings beating fast, ready to share what he has heard with Zeus. In the great hall, he bows before his father. My lord, voices ride the winds tonight. Old voices, not of the living. Zeus is not surprised. He has heard the same faint echo, yet Hermes' words tighten the unease within him. What words? He asks. Hermes repeats them. Hear us. Remember, return. The words hang heavy. Hera, passing nearby, pauses at the threshold, her voice steady, cautious. Whispers in the wind are rarely harmless. Who dares call from the shadows of time? No answer comes. Only the hum of the night, the weight of something waiting to be named. Far below, mortals dream restlessly of towering figures glowing like mountains, oceans rising, stars bending into new shapes. In their dreams, a hand reaches from beyond memory, not with fear, but with awe, as though offering invitation. Apollo feels it too. His lyre hums softly on its own, a single string vibrating in harmony with the whispering night. He strums, and the melody carries outward, blending with the unseen voices, as though they answer in return. The gods notice small signs, flames trembling, shadows shifting, echoes of thoughts not entirely their own. Some dismiss it, others lean closer. Athena listens carefully, sensing that change never arrives without purpose. For a moment, she glimpses vastness, something ancient stirring, rising slowly from the weight of ages. Zeus says little. He knows omens are never clear. But these voices are not mortal nor divine. They are older. The wind grows stronger at dawn. The whispers swell, undeniable now, rising with the crimson and gold of morning. The stars linger, as if reluctant to fade, watching from above, guardians of secrets, too old for words. Hermes returns again, bowing low. Father, the voices grow louder. They call to Olympus. They call to you. Zeus lifts his gaze, listening. And there it is clear as thunder, soft as breath. Hear us. Remember. Return. He closes his eyes. He knows these voices. They are titans, not roaring, not threatening, but awakening, reaching across time itself. It is not the sound of war. It is the whisper of memory, of balance, long forgotten. And Zeus understands. The calm was never meant to last. The whispers do not fade. They grow slowly, like a rising tide, filling every hollow with sound too old to ignore. Zeus listens in silence. He watches skies, seas, and earth for signs to match the voices. The stars shift subtly. Constellations lean into new shapes, stories bending, mortals wondering at the heavens. Poseidon senses it too. His trident hums, waves restless, the ocean echoing with voices older than water itself. Deep in the earth, stones tremble, as if remembering footsteps from an age before Olympus was born. The Titans are not here, not yet, but their essence stirs, and the world answers. Zeus calls the gods to council. They gather in the great hall, thrones glowing with divine light. Hera sits beside him, Athena thoughtful, Apollo strumming faint notes, Ares restless, Demeter uneasy. Zeus speaks with calm thunder. The winds, seas, and stars carry echoes. These are not tricks, they are titans. Silence grips the hall. For some, titans mean dread. For others, a myth. For Zeus, they are memory. Hera breaks the stillness. They were defeated, bound, scattered. What right have they to return? Athena answers softly. Perhaps not for conquest. The whispers speak of remembering, of return. Ares scoffs. Whispers deceive. Let them come. Olympus will not fall. His words ripple unease. Apollo strums. This is no war cry. It is music, faint but ancient. Even my lyre responds. Demeter nods. The earth shifts too. Crops grow in patterns I never planted. The soil listens. The gods argue fear against curiosity, pride against reason. Zeus listens, silent, storm within him steady. He remembers the Titans not only as conquerors, but as forces of creation, vast and eternal. Cronus, ruler of time's river. Rhea, life's nurturing hand. Oceanus, whose currents wrap the world. They were not erased, only balanced. Chaos, shaped into order. Yet balance shifts, demanding renewal. The whispers swell in the hall. Air hums with unseen resonance, vibrating like strings pulled by memory. Athena leans forward. Perhaps the question is not if they return, but why? What truth was forgotten? Zeus answers at last. We will not rush to war, nor call them lies. We will listen. In echoes, there is memory. In memory, wisdom. The council grows still. Some gods uneasy, others curious, all aware the Titans are speaking again. Olympus waits. Stars keep shifting. Seas hum deeper. Earth breathes differently, as though waking. Mortals feel it in dreams. Gods sense it in thought. Zeus feels it in thunder that stirs again. These are not threats. Not yet. They are reminders. Echoes of the Titans. And echoes, once awakened, never fade. Beneath Olympus, the earth begins to move. Not in quakes, but in a slow, steady pulse, like a heart stirring after endless sleep. Mortals feel it first. Roots twist in spirals. Trees grow too quickly. Rivers shift toward forgotten paths. Demeter kneels in her fields, hands on the soil. She feels it hum beneath her touch, singing a rhythm older than memory. She tells Olympus' voice urgent. The land stirs. Roots remember. The earth carries voices, not my own. It sings of something older. Far below, Hades notices too. Stones shift with purpose. Shades of the dead dream of lives they never lived. Mortals dream vividly. They see figures of flame, earth, starlight, and ocean. They wake with awe, as though meeting forgotten kin. Zeus feels the weight of memory. He recalls not only the Titans' fall, but their gift, the raw forces that shaped all creation. The gods debate in the hall. Ares demands readiness for war. Athena counsels patience. Apollo strums notes, echoing the pulse. Hera frowns, wary of change. Demeter trembles. If the earth sings, something rises, not in anger, but in remembrance. Zeus listens. He knows the truth. This is not war, but awakening. Still, awakening reshapes the world in ways beyond control. That night, Zeus leaves Olympus. He walks among mortals, feeling the soil tremble, the rivers shimmer, the wind weave its whispers. Closing his eyes, he hears the call again. Hear us! Remember! Return! No longer distant, woven into the breath of the world. At dawn, the sun blazes brighter. Apollo himself stays silent, unable to claim its brilliance. Mortals marvel at the living sky. Deep in hidden places, a shape stirs. Not free, not seen, but awake. A presence long contained breathes again. It is no roar, no cry for vengeance. It is a breath, a reminder. The Titans return not in storm or flame. Not yet. They return in dreams, in memory, in the pulse of the earth. Olympus feels it. Mortals feel it. Even the underworld feels it. And Zeus knows the truth cannot be delayed. The Titans are stirring. When the earth remembers, nothing stays the same. The whispers reach mortals. At first, they are faint dreams, fading at dawn. But soon they deepen, leaving visions no dreamer can forget. A shepherd dreams of a giant made of stone, taller than mountains, eyes like stars. It does not speak, but its silence feels like truth. He wakes, shaken yet awed, as though carrying a secret. A sailor at sea dreams of endless waters folding inward, embracing him. In the tide, a vast face gazes, not with malice, but with recognition. He wakes weeping, unable to explain why the sea feels like home. Children dream of hands reaching down from the sky, not to strike, but to lift. They laugh in their sleep, touched by ancient power. Across fields and cities, mortals dream of titans, not of terror or conquest, but of remembrance. Priests and poets notice. Temples fill with whispers of visions. Songs are woven, new myths rising from old names. Kings grow uneasy. Their people speak not of Zeus and Apollo, but of Cronus, Rhea, Oceanus. Forgotten names alive again. For rulers, it is troubling. For the people, it is wonder. Hermes brings word to Olympus. Mortals are not afraid. They feel called, as if by kin long lost. Athena reflects. Mortals keep memory and story. If even dreams recall titans, truth runs deeper than Olympus. Hera frowns. If devotion shifts, our rule weakens. Forgotten gods must not rise again. Apollo strums softly. Perhaps it is not rebellion but reunion, a harmony long missing. Zeus listens, heavy with thought. He knows mortal faith feeds the divine as much as the will of gods. Night falls, and dreams return. A farmer dreams of time itself, slowing, quickening, as if hours are alive. A child dreams of hand-scattering stars like seeds, shaping constellations with care. An old woman dreams of oceans folding back, revealing lands long forgotten. Each dream carries awe, not fear. Each dream a thread, weaving into a tapestry unseen but undeniable. In the underworld, even shades dream. The dead join the living in memory. Hades watches as boundaries grow thin. Zeus stands at Olympus's edge, gazing down at mortal fires glowing in the night. Each flame feels like a heartbeat. He closes his eyes. The voices rise. Hear us. Remember. Return. Now joined by mortal hearts, the chorus flows across worlds. Not a demand, but an invitation. Not command, but remembrance. Zeus breathes deeply. He does not answer, but thunder stirs within. Listening, the dreams of mortals are more than dreams. They are bridges between gods and titans, past and present, memory and awakening. And bridges, once built, cannot easily be broken. The dreams of mortals could not be ignored. Olympus, filled with whispers, heavy with meaning. A council was called, and every god felt its weight. Zeus sat in silence, steady and still. He knew truth would rise if he gave it time. His silence was not weakness, but strength. The gods gathered one by one, each bearing their own doubts. Hera, regal yet tense. Athena, calm but sharp. Apollo humming notes that carried echoes of more than music. Ares stormed in, restless, armor flashing. Demeter weary, as though the earth's voice never left her. Hermes quick, curious, wings brushing the air. When the council began, Hera's voice led. She warned that mortal dreams of titans grew stronger. She feared devotion was slipping away from Olympus. Ares struck the arm of his seat, calling for war. Crush the whispers before they become voices. End this before it spreads. Athena stopped him, her voice calm. Memory cannot be chained. War may awaken them faster. She urged patience, wisdom, restraint. Apollo strummed softly, his tone carrying calm. Mortals do not tremble. They marvel. Perhaps this is harmony, not rebellion. Demeter spoke with quiet strength. The soil remembers. The earth is restless, missing something older than Olympus. I feel it in every root and seed. Hermes leaned forward, curious. Mortals build altars with forgotten names. If their dreams grow, what will rise with them? Silence followed. Zeus waited, still as stone. Athena asked the question none wished to. Can Olympus share the sky with Titans? Her words struck like lightning. Ares spat fury. We fought for this throne. Would you invite them back to stand beside us? Hera's voice sharpened. Mortals cannot serve two masters. If they turn to Titans, we fade. We must hold their devotion. Apollo countered with calm light. We do not fade when mortals dream. We live in stories, prayers, songs. The Titans may not be rivals, but part of the tale. Demeter added gently. The harvest thrives, yet the soil hungers. Something deep is calling. We cannot close our ears to it. Voices clashed, Ares demanding war, Hera demanding control, Apollo urging harmony, Demeter pleading for balance, Athena urging patience, Hermes restless for clarity. Zeus listened. He remembered war, chains, shadows. He remembered why he fought not to destroy, but to bring order. Now he wondered if order without memory was enough. At last, he rose. His voice rolled like distant thunder. The Titans stir. Mortals dream. The seas sing. The earth remembers. We cannot deny this. He stood tall, shadow long across the marble hall. We will not answer whispers with war. We will not fight memory with fear. We will listen, and we will watch. If they rise, we will meet them not as children of war, but as rulers of balance. That is the way of Olympus. The hall grew still. Ares fumed, but stayed silent. Hera clenched her jaw, but no word came. Athena bowed her head. Apollo struck one clear note, like sunlight. The council had no resolution, only a path. Yet in Olympus, even a path shapes eternity. Zeus returned to his throne. Thunder stirred faintly in the skies. The council remained divided but bound. The Titans were stirring. Olympus had chosen for now to listen. Far from Olympus, firelight flickered in a lonely cave. Shadows stretched along the stone walls, restless and alive. Here sat Prometheus, the chained Titan, bound not by fear but by fate. His mind was free, his fire eternal. Though his chains were heavy, his spirit remained unbroken. He watched the world from afar, listening to its stirrings. He felt the dreams of mortals before even the gods did. Their whispers reached him like sparks carried by the wind. Prometheus smiled, a weary, knowing smile. The world remembers, he murmured. The old songs cannot stay silent forever. Mortals had always been his heart. He had given them fire, hope, the spark of thought. He loved them as his own. Now he saw their dreams turn toward the Titans, not in fear, but in longing. They remembered what Olympus tried to bury. Each dream was like a flame, small alone, but together they blazed into something unstoppable. Prometheus knew this fire well. It was the same fire he had given humankind long ago. His voice echoed softly in the cave. Flames do not ask permission to burn. They spread, they rise, they endure. Above him, the stars shimmered, shifting as though listening. The constellations whispered back their silent approval. Prometheus closed his eyes, sending his thoughts across the ether, not to gods, not to mortals, but to those who still lingered in shadow. Brothers, sisters, the time is near. The world stirs, and the chains of silence weaken. Mortals, dream of us again. Far away, echoes stirred in the depths of oceans and roots of mountains. The Titans, though hidden, stirred faintly in reply. Cronus, in his slumber, shifted, time itself quivering. Rhea's voice brushed the wind, soft and ancient. Oceanus rolled deep in the seas. Prometheus breathed deeply. His chains rattled, but he did not care. The sound was not defeat, but a drumbeat. "The gods think themselves eternal," he whispered. "But eternity is not theirs alone. Eternity belongs to memory." He spoke not in anger, but in truth, not in rebellion, but in reminder. Titans were not gone. They were only waiting. And now, Prometheus felt, their waiting was ending. The firelight in the cave flared brighter, though no wood fed it. His presence alone was enough to call it alive. He knew Zeus would sense it. He knew Olympus would listen. But Prometheus also knew that the time for silence had passed. "Mortals are calling," he whispered into the night. "And we will answer." His words did not vanish. They carried outward, rippling through air, stone, and sea. A signal, a promise, a beginning. The cave fell silent again, save for the flicker of eternal fire. Prometheus closed his eyes, and his smile lingered. The world was changing, and at its heart, fire was waiting to rise. Beneath Olympus and far below the seas, the earth trembled, not with rage, but with awakening. In the roots of mountains, something ancient stirred. Mortals felt it first. Farmers paused when the ground sighed beneath their feet. Children pressed ears to soil, hearing songs rise through the dirt. Miners swore the stone walls hummed with hidden voices. The gods felt it too. Demeter most of all. Her fields bent toward winds that did not exist. Trees leaned, vines twisted, reaching for something older. She went to Zeus. "The earth stirs," she whispered. "It stirs not for war, but for memory." The Titans breathe in the roots of the world. Zeus listened, heavy with thought. Each tremor carried rhythm, a vast and timeless heartbeat. Elsewhere, mortals dreamed. A shepherd saw mountains alive. A child saw rivers flow backward, carrying stories home. An old woman saw the sky open, not in storm, but in light. All awoke with peace, not fear. In the seas, Poseidon stirred uneasily. The tides pulsed with whispers of Oceanus. "Brother," Poseidon muttered, "you turn in your slumber." The underworld shifted too. Hades felt his stones tremble with remembrance. Even the shades murmured, touched by voices older than death. The gods gathered again. Hermes spoke first, sharp and light. "The world calls for them. Mortals, seas, even the earth. We cannot pretend this is nothing." Hera frowned. "If they rise, what place remains for us?" "Mortals cannot divide devotion," Athena answered calmly. "Devotion need not chain. It can bridge. The Titans return not to destroy, but to remind." Ares growled. "Reminders break thrones. Dreams do not build order. We must act." Apollo's voice cut through, soft and clear. "The tremor is not war. It is harmony. A song too vast for one voice." Zeus was silent. He listened to soil, to skies, to hearts of gods and mortals. In the mortal world, temples shifted. Altars glowed again, for names long forgotten. Priests spoke words they had never been taught. Songs spread, weaving Titans back into living faith. The tremors grew stronger, but brought no ruin. Rivers held their course. Mountains stood firm. The world pulsed like breath after long sleep. In his cave, Prometheus felt it most. Chains rattled with each tremor. He smiled, wary but certain. "It begins. The earth remembers. Soon the sky must remember too." Night fell on Olympus. Stars shimmered, shifting as if making space. Zeus looked upward. The sky was still his, but he felt no anger, only the quiet approach of choice. The earth stirred. The song grew louder. No sword, no storm, no war. Only memory, vast and undeniable. The gods waited. Mortals dreamed. And deep below, the Titans stirred. Not yet risen, but no longer silent. The stirrings of the earth grew into something more. No longer tremors. No longer whispers, but voices. The Titans, though unseen, began to speak. Their voices did not break mountains or seas. They came as echoes, woven into wind and water. Mortals were the first to hear them clearly. A shepherd heard the breeze call his name, not in thunder, but in gentle recognition. A young woman dreamed of a figure from the sea. The voice told her, "You are part of me, as the tide is part of the moon." She woke to find the waves calmer, almost listening. Everywhere, people felt presence, not fear. The Titans returned as memory given voice. The gods heard differently. For them, voices came as questions, not accusations, but invitations. Not chains, but mirrors. To Hera came Rhea's whisper, "My child, a throne is not only a seat, it is a burden shared." Poseidon heard Oceanus in the tides. "Brother, do you guard the seas, or claim them? Water is freedom, not possession." Athena heard Mnemosyne's wisdom. "Knowledge is not only power, it is memory made alive." Each god grew quiet, thoughtful, for every voice carried truth. Zeus, too, heard. Nights grew long as he watched the stars. It was not Cronus yet, but the earth pressed on him. A storm gathered over Olympus one night. It broke not with thunder, but with heartbeats, the sound of a world remembering itself. The gods assembled in silence. Hermes spoke first. The voices grow stronger. Mortals lean toward them. "Do we let this continue?" Athena shook her head. "To deny memory is to deny truth. This is not an enemy, but a song." Ares growled. "Songs do not hold empires. Dreams do not keep thrones." Apollo's voice cut clear. "Perhaps thrones are not what the world needs most." The gods murmured, but Zeus stayed silent. He listened to soil, skies, gods, and mortals. Far below, Titans stirred more fully. The sea swelled with Oceanus's breath. The earth warmed with Gaia's pulse. The winds carried Hyperion and Themis. Yet they did not rise. They waited with the patience of rivers and mountains. Mortals began to wonder. Were they ruled too long by thunder? Did they belong only to Olympus, or to something deeper? Priests split their prayers. Some to Zeus, for protection. Some to Demeter, for harvest. Some to the forgotten names, spoken with hope. The balance wavered. Harmony stretched thin. A song too vast for one voice alone. Prometheus felt it most keenly. His fire flickered brighter with every whisper. "Their voices rise," he murmured. "But will Olympus answer or deny?" Night after night, Zeus lay awake. The Titans did not threaten, not directly, but their voices pulled at the fabric of the world. The question grew louder. Could gods and Titans exist together? Or must the old be silenced for the new? The answer did not come. Not yet. The voices called for recognition, not war. The world held its breath. The sky waited. And Zeus did not know what choice to make. The voices of the Titans spread wider. Mortals woke with songs in their mouths they had never learned. Children spoke names older than temples. Priests trembled, caught between two devotions. The world no longer whispered, it sang, and Olympus could not ignore the song. The gods gathered once more. The air on the mountain was heavy with silence. Hermes spoke first, restless as the wind. "The song grows. Mortals lean toward it. Shall we remain still?" Hera's voice cut sharp. "Mortals cannot serve two thrones. Divided worship weakens us." Athena's eyes shone with calm resolve. "Perhaps worship is not meant to be divided. Perhaps it is meant to be shared." Ares clenched his fists. "Shared thrones are broken thrones. Do you forget what was won with war?" Apollo's gaze lifted toward the stars. "Not all victories are born of war. Some are born of harmony." Demeter raised her voice, steady as soil. "The earth stirs not to destroy, but to awaken. Mortals hear because they belong." Poseidon's trident trembled faintly in his grip. "The seas echo with Oceanus. His tide presses on mine. The balance wavers." Hades stood in silence. Even the underworld murmured with old memory. Finally, all eyes turned to Zeus. He had been silent through it all. The storm above Olympus flickered but did not break. Zeus looked upon his kin, then toward the world below. "The voices call," he said at last. "They do not call for war nor for thrones to fall. They call for recognition." Hermes frowned. "And what do we answer? If we yield, do we not fade?" Zeus shook his head slowly. "To yield is to surrender, but to listen is not the same. Perhaps it is to lead differently." The gods exchanged uneasy glances. Could Olympus bend without breaking? Could Titans return without destroying? The questions hung heavier than thunder. Far below, the Titans stirred louder. The earth thrummed like a heartbeat, too vast to silence. Mortals woke in peace, not fear. For them, the voices meant not division, but belonging. And on Olympus, the storm gathered strength, not of rage, but of choice. The world stood at the edge of something vast. The song swelled, the silence deepened, and Zeus knew the storm would soon demand an answer. The days that followed were heavy with signs. Mortals dreamed of skies burning with fire, seas rising like mountains, and forests whispering secrets too old to name. Some woke trembling, others awoke inspired. The voices of the Titans grew louder, woven into the air like song. Farmers felt the ground hum beneath their plows. Sailors felt the ocean shift beneath their ships. Shepherds swore the winds carried names older than men. It was not terror that stirred their hearts. It was the pull of memory, a call to something forgotten but alive. On Olympus, the gods were restless. Zeus stood at the peak, storm above him waiting to break. Athena spoke beside him. The balance trembles, Father. The Titans ask not for war, but to be heard. What place shall we give them? Hera's voice was sharp as steel. The place they chose was exile. They defied us and they lost. To welcome them now is weakness. Poseidon rumbled like the sea, and yet their song stirs the tides. The oceans hear them as well. Can Olympus deny what the world itself cannot silence? Ares demanded strength. Apollo urged harmony. Demeter spoke for renewal. Hades kept his silence, shadows deep at his feet. At last Zeus raised his hand, and silence fell like thunder without sound. The world is shifting, he said. The mortals do not fear the voices. They welcome them. To ignore this call may shatter balance, not with war, but with neglect. Athena leaned forward. Then what must be done? Zeus's gaze was steady as stone. There must be a test, not of war, not of blood, a test of balance. If Titans seek return, let them prove they can share without breaking. The gods exchanged uneasy glances. Could such a trial even be real? The decision was made. A valley was chosen, where mountains, rivers, and sky met, where gods and mortals once feasted in days now lost. When the day arrived, the air trembled. Mortals gathered at a distance, their hearts beating fast. They saw shadows tall as mountains. They saw lights bright as stars. The Titans rose from the earth. Cronus walked slowly, vast but calm. Oceanus flowed like a living river. Rhea's voice carried the rhythm of life itself. One by one, the ancients stood, not as conquerors, but as memory alive again. On the other side, the gods descended in radiant form. Zeus led, his storm caged within. Hera walked proud. Athena shone with wisdom. Poseidon held his trident, the seas alive around him. The valley held its breath. Cronus spoke first, voice deep as turning earth. We come not to take, but to stand again in the world we shaped. Will you hear us, or cast us away once more? Zeus answered slowly. The world cannot bear two thrones, but perhaps it can bear balance. Will you walk without ruling, share without consuming? The words struck like lightning, waiting to fall. Cronus's ancient eyes softened. We did not return to rule. We returned because the world called. Mortals remember. The earth remembers. To silence that is to silence life itself. Mortals wept when they heard his voice. They felt recognition, not fear. And for the first time, Zeus felt no challenge. He felt answered. The test of balance had begun. It would not be measured in battles. It would be measured in choices, not in strength, but in restraint. The world itself would judge. And the storm above Olympus eased, not gone, not broken, waiting, waiting for the path to be chosen. The valley fell silent after Cronus spoke. It was not fear that filled the air, but waiting. Every breath and heartbeat leaned toward what would follow. Mortals at the edges felt dawn rising. They expected thunder and flame. Instead, they witnessed something gentler yet greater. Zeus looked at Cronus without defiance. It was the gaze of a son facing age and memory. The world shifts, Zeus said. Perhaps it is not ours to deny, but ours to guide. Athena's eyes glimmered. The test begins, not in war, but in witness. Let balance prove itself. The Titans did not roar or raise arms. They bowed their heads to the challenge. Cronus spoke, voice deep as earth. Let the skies, seas, and soil decide. The valley stirred at his words. Mountains trembled in recognition. Rivers ran brighter as if renewed. The wind carried divine and ancient songs. Mortals gasped with wonder, not fear. Children clung to their mothers. Farmers knelt, touching the pulsing ground. Sailors swore the seas had stilled. The world itself leaned closer to listen. The gods watched in silence. The Titans waited calmly. Expectation thickened heavier than thunder. Hera faced Rhea with sharp eyes. We walk separate paths. If mortals serve us both, will they not be torn? Rhea smiled, calm and warm. Children do not break with two hands to guide them. They grow. Even Hera faltered at the truth. Poseidon raised his trident. Sea rumbling. Oceanus, if you rise, do my waters not weaken? Oceanus laughed like distant surf. The sea is endless, Poseidon. Your tides rise from me, as mine from you. We join, not take. Mortals cheered faintly, hope in their voices. The balance already began to turn. Zeus felt the storm within him ease. The Titans had not come to conquer. They had come because the world had called. Mortals remembered. The seas remembered. The earth and stars remembered. Zeus lifted his hand. Lightning arcing silent. Let it be known, he declared. This is no war. This is no overthrow. This is balance. Gods and Titans, two voices, one chorus. The valley echoed the words. Mountains carried them. The seas reflected them. Hades spoke at last. The dead remember both. The living shall remember both. Balance begins here. The valley bloomed with life. Flowers opened where none had grown. Waters sparkled silver under the Sunday. The air itself grew lighter. Mortals wept, tears of relief. They had feared war. Instead, they were given peace. Cronus bowed to Zeus, not defeated, but in recognition. You have led them well. Now lead them where past and present walk together. For the first time, Zeus bowed in return. Father and son stood as keepers of one world. The gods and Titans did not embrace, but silence between them was whole. The test of balance had ended, and it had been passed. The age of division closed. The age of balance began. Storm clouds parted above the valley. Light spilled across mountain, sea, temple, and field. The world had chosen, not fear, but harmony. The turning of the age had come.